Yeah, so we are back.
Yeah, so like I said, this classes is continue. Okay, then used to come back for our lunch. From there, like I said, we used to cycle down, and of course, cycle down not single. Huh? We used to be in groups. Okay, in group, not single file, two parallel to each other and then behind. So groups of 8, 10 like that, and those were automatic habits. We used to just form there and come.
So it's almost like formation flying.
Yeah, something like that. So you used to move around in formation. Okay, even when you are moving on foot, it was a normal thing to, just bunch together and move around in formation.
Right.
Okay, not haphazard, taking the whole road and things like that. Okay, and if you are actually not doing that, you can be caught by the appointment, the sergeants, the corporals, others, and you'll be punished.
Another interesting fact which I remember from when I visited NDA was that the cadets have the right of way. Even if you're coming from outside the campus or if you're driving around the campus, the cadets will always have the right of way, and you have to stop when cadets are in front of you.
Yeah, I mean, there was no written rule as such, but the thing was that any vehicle, okay, four-wheeler or two-wheeler, because that only the officers have, or the administration staff and other things. Obviously, those vehicles used to move around. But because when we are crossing the road, or because we are kind of squads, groups moving around, whether in cycle or on foot, they used to wait. Right. So it was, you can call right of way, but it was just a normal courtesy because these people are on cycles or foot. So they used to wait for you.
Got it.
Okay. And then, moving forward. So we have our lunch. Okay. About 1 hour or so. You have a good lunch. Okay. Lunch menu was changing every day. Mostly it is always non-veg. Okay. Mostly always non-veg and very good lunch. Okay. So food was actually excellent. You have food and you come back to your squadrons and to your room. Okay. To your cabin. We used to call them cabin. So you come back to your cabin, change, and then relax. Okay. During that time, we did not have our individual, because that time, of course, only radio was there. Okay. So we could not have our radios. But there was a radio in the anteroom. Okay. Which was sometimes, wired also. So the music is too, you can hear the music everywhere. In the corridors or in your cabin also, which was controlled by the senior cadets. Okay, so every squadron had the appointments. There used to be the squadron cadet captain, which was the highest rank. Then you have the divisional cadet captains. That means the squadron itself, suppose Alpha Squadron, okay, from first term to sixth term, had for let's say around 200, 150, 200 cadets. From first termer to sixth termer, final termer. They used to be divided into 3 wings. Okay. So actually it was always a U-type from seeing from front. There's one block and then there are 2 blocks connected. So there were 3, divisions. And then we had the DCCs. So they used to call the divisional cadet captain. Then you have a CSM. Okay. CSM who used to, be in charge of all disciplinary things.
What was the full form of CSM? Cadet Sergeant Master? Or
no, Company Sergeant Master.
Company Sergeant.
So that is a CSM. There was a very powerful, position. Then there was a CQMS. CQMS looks after all the kind of a logistic things. Okay.
Quartermasters.
Quartermaster.
Right.
Okay, quartermaster. So logistics kind of a things. Then you had now these were senior cadets. That means 6 termers used to have these appointments. Then you had corporals and sergeants, which were 4 termers. Sergeants used to be there. So these were appointments were there. So they used to keep the discipline amongst, all the cadets and everything goes on. And every squadron had their, squadron commander which an officer at that time it was, major equivalent, and below him there were 2-3 more officers who were captain equivalent. Okay, captain, flight lieutenant, and lieutenant from the Navy. So those were there. Those are the other officers. They had their offices adjacent next to the squadrons only. Okay. So we used to come back to the squadron, come back to the squadron and relax for about an hour. During that time, mostly because you'll be tired, so we used to go to sleep and then get up. Then there is the playtime. Okay, games. So used to fall in. That means you used to do you have seen,
Like the roll count.
Roll count, Republic Day parade or any other thing. You used to fall in. Okay. Division wise, you will fall in there. And then you go to the playgrounds and you play whatever you want to play.
What was your sport? Like, I know you used to do boxing and football a lot.
Yeah, boxing and football were not mainly part of this time. Okay. In this time, it was mainly on the fields. So, you used to go and play football, hockey, volleyball. Okay. Outdoor games, not so much as indoor games. What you are talking about, boxing, because there were inter-squadron competitions. And so, you used to be part of the thing, of the weight categories wise. No? So we used to go and practice there. So boxing rings were separate. Those are, of course, indoors. And one interesting thing is that every first termer in the initial stage has to fight a box. Novices boxing, they used to call it.
Novices boxing.
So in Sainik school also I used to do boxing. I was okay, quite good in boxing in Sainik school also. So I obviously was part of the squadron boxing team there, and I used to do boxing there. But my favorite, mostly I used to play football, basketball, and sometimes hockey also. But mainly football, basketball, these kind of games I used to play. So there were courts at different parts of the NDA campus, and we used to go and play there for 1 hour, 1.5 hours, and then come back. So around 5 o'clock we are back, and then again take bath and sweat a lot, take bath and all that before that. And we used to give, so morning also we used to give given cup of tea and all that. Okay. Evening also, along with the cup of tea, we used to be given some snacks. Okay. So we go there. You have to go, you don't get in your cabin. Okay. You go there, there's a place there, you go there, and CQMS, like I told you, quartermaster. That cadet, the senior guy, used to be in charge of all those things. And we used to have our tea, coffee and other. Come back, relax. And then as the evening starts, okay, around 7 o'clock, study time. In your own cabin. Your cabin door has to be open.
Right.
Okay, cabin door has to be open. And then we used to do our self-studies. Whatever homework given to us, we used to do or read or whatever. And the appointments used to supervise. They will see the people are not chit-chatting and going to other fellows' room and all that. Even like I told you, the squadron commander, which is regular armed forces officers, and the division commanders, DVOs we used to call, divisional officers, they used to come and make rounds in that. So you do that studies 1.5 hours or so. Around 8:30 we close, go to the mess again, cadets mess, and then we have our dinner, come back from dinner. Okay, thereafter again we change around and all. Some people, if you want to go to there was an ante room in every squadron. You can go there, read some books. This in the junior terms, we never used to go. It was mainly the seniors used to there, so they used to play those things. During those Bonnie M and all that, ABBA, English, they were very, very famous. They used to listen to those musics and all. And then, I mean, you do whatever you want to do. And during that time, after dinner, we should chit chat also. Okay. And then, lights out, 10 o'clock.
Okay, so my understanding of the National Defence Academy, the routine was that, like, firstly, obviously, when you get up early in the morning, you have to. One more factor was that you have to change a lot of dress throughout the day. Yeah. It's almost like 3 or 4 changes that you do. For your PT, your drill, you have separate dresses. For your classes, you have a separate dress. Maybe for your dinner time, and whenever you go to the mess, that is also different.
Mufti, yeah, we used to call them
muftis. So that used to be there. Also, that I think that many people think that it is a very specialized training, but I think towards the later part, when you get into the senior terms, that is when you start your specialized trainings before for going to the Air Force Academy or the Indian Military Academy or Naval Academy. Sports was a very important thing, because obviously as future soldiers, sports will be an very effective part. Being fit is obviously the cornerstone of a good soldier. And what I gauge from your experience is that these are not only warriors, but they are also scholars in a way, because you have to read a lot about geopolitics, you have to read about famous battle tactics, you have to read a lot about how the diplomacy works, because many people don't know, but later on, defense officers also have a lot of foreign postings. They are appointed as attaches. They are also involved in peacekeeping missions, and they are like in the form of the military diplomats that we have. Another thing which I noted was the amount of importance that nutrition and food really had in the academy, which is obviously because if you're burning so many calories throughout the day, you need to have sustenance in that proportional level. And another thing which I got to know from is basically the emphasis on studies, because a lot of people think that soldiers follow orders and they don't have a level of intellectuality, which is a controversial statement, but it is something which many people think that the level of intellectuality might be average, but it seems that there is a certain level of maturity and intellectual thought which is put into a cadet's life for them to have their own experiences, and these are future leaders who will go on to command squadron, battalions, divisions, brigades, and so on and so forth. So that is my
you are right, absolutely right. Unlike what other people might think, in NDA, basically it is the starting block, right? Grooming from there. Like I talked to you about the sports or the PTs or drills or going to the swimming pool. Yeah, that was another thing. You had to pass that minimum swimming test, So it was an Olympic size pool. So then you have the 10-meter jump. You used to jump from 10 meters and go there. Those things, and then normal, day-to-day activities that you do, moving around in cycles or this. Like I said, teamwork is very important in defense forces. So you learn how to work in a team, as a team. Okay. During that time, you also develop, because these various appointments I told you in SSC, DCCs, CQMS, CSM, sergeants, corporals, this, that, all those also taught you the leadership qualities. Okay. And then your routine was such throughout the day that you were not starved of sleep or something. No, you had enough time to sleep. But time management was of essence. So how do you manage your time? Okay, that was of essence. And then, thinking on your feet, quick thinking. You have to face situations where there are procedures laid down, rules laid down in the armed forces, but sometimes you have to work around those. But remaining within the boundaries of those procedures and processes. Okay. So those things, that grooming used to be there. And like I said, from first to fourth terms, the first 2 years, it was mainly emphasis on academics, emphasis on your physical training, your mental toughening up, grooming. Because in between we used to have camps also, various camps, Tona and other camps. Okay. So all those things also used to teach you all that thing. leadership and teamwork. And then, fifth and sixth terms is the period when you are learning about specialized, subjects which deal with Army, Navy, Air Force and all that. Okay. So field, like Army cadet will learn about field tactics and all. Naval cadet, the Karakwasta Lake was there. That was their home. They used to go there and learn about the naval tactics and all those things, naval drills. For Air Force, we used to go to the Air Force training team areas. Okay. Like I said, gliders were there, domes. So we used to learn basic things about aerodynamics, basic things about, flying, basic things about an aircraft, what is an aircraft, basic things about, how does the aircraft fly, what is, how is the power used, what is the drag, and this a small on aerodynamics and other things. Classes used to be there. And then in sixth term, you did the flying training, where you learn how to glider. A glider during that time is a powerless aircraft. Okay. It is to you have seen in Air Force.
Yeah, I've been in a glider.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have seen there. So it is to be pulled by a vehicle, and then you will fly. You will ride the
Wind.
waves.
Yeah.
Okay. Air waves, and then you make chakkar around up there, and you come back and land. Okay. So you have to pass that also. So you used to be taught about that. And the Army cadets used to do their own things, weapon trainings, field tactics and other things. Naval cadets used to do. I being an Air Force cadet, we used to do all these things. So it was in the fourth and fifth term that you were given exposure to what was going to come when you go to your individual service with the Army, Navy, Air Force. Okay. So during the first, but the emphasis, of course, was on doing your normal BSc or BA exams, okay, on this. But like I told you, you learned a lot of things outside the syllabus. You had a foreign language, you had to pass the minimum Hindi test, you learned about geopolitics and all that, you had history, military history, okay, different wars, how do you fight, what are the tactics, geography, okay. Geography was important, which are the kinds of terrain, this, because you have to fight everywhere. Okay. So those things, so it was a holistic education which was given, developed your brain and your physical strength, of course. Okay. Because you do so many outdoor activities. So it is an overall thing where you come as a boy there, and by the time you pass out, you become a man ready to be inducted, ready to go to your respective, specialized academies, the Air Force academies, or the IMA for them, or the Naval Academy. Okay. And then from there you pick up your things about your individual service.
Right. So this will be a continuous podcast. It will be something that will be unplugged and unfiltered, and it will be basically how we go through fighter pilot's life throughout. Thank you so much for your time, Group Captain Pulak Bhuyan. Another thing is, I think probably a lot of people do talk about officer-like qualities and all those things which is needed to be a cadet, but I think we will cover that in the later phases. So thank you for your time and your view on the National Defence Academy, and I will be seeing everyone really soon. So thank you, and if you have any last words to say before leaving.
No, thanks. Nice talking to you. Okay. Now it has been so many years, I might have missed out something or represented something. But as in essence, this is the life, and it was a dream come true to join the armed forces. And now I remember those areas. But anyhow, thank you and for reminding me of those days, in the initial training academies. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Fantastic, folks. I'll see you.